Okay, today we're going to cover the pipeline stages in Recruitee. The first step every morning for Inyon staff members is to go to the home screen and check your task to make sure that there's not some task scheduled for you that day. Now we'll talk about the different stages. So under settings and then pipelines, you'll see the stages that we have. So let's start with prospect because it'll make more sense in a second. So right now, Felisa is the sourcer. She does research and tries to find candidates. When she finds one, she'll put them in under prospect. And prospect should really be the first stage, but Recruitee has default fixed stages, so we can't move them. So when she finds a candidate, she's going to put it under prospect. And she's basically saying, hey, I got this candidate. I'm not sure if they'll work, but see if you can do something with it. Then the next step is for somebody to review it and say that either this candidate is good for a position we have, or a position we have available, or it isn't. And then route it in the proper direction, meaning put it into the pool if it can be used in any other way, or set the person up for interview or whatever. Which brings us back to these two, which is sourced, which means that we found them, and then apply, which means that they found us. So if here in prospect, if the person looks at the prospect and decides that it can be used for any current position, we're going to move it to source. That sends an automatic email to that candidate informing them that we're looking for a candidate for a particular position, and it's going to ask them to set up some way to talk to us. If nothing happens or they don't respond to it, then it'll send us an alert 5 days later, and either the candidate is interested or we haven't heard from them. If we don't hear from them, then usually we'll send Ika a task that says need follow-up. And basically she'll do whatever we didn't do. If we called, then she'll try text and email. Or if we emailed, then she'll probably text or call to see if she can get in touch with that candidate. But if we contact that candidate in any way, then we're going to move them and they're interested, then we're going to move them to apply for the job because that's what allows us to set up them for interviews. So if they are sourced and we get in touch with them, then we're going to move them to applied. Also in applied will be those people who found our ad from Indeed or from some other place. So sourced as we found them, applied as they found us, but they should all end up in applied. Because what will happen is that the next step will be if it's a person that's teaching staff, so that's teachers or family service workers or those type teachers' aides, then whoever is distributing the list from applied will move their stage to interview request teaching staff. That sends an email to Betty or Candace letting them know that we're trying to set up a email for them, and it'll automatically send them a task for that time. Now, once they attempt to, and for that matter, if you're in applied, if it's not teaching staff, then just set up a phone interview other than teacher, and those will come to Ron or Ika, whoever's working on it, or Chance, whoever's working on it. If none of us hear back from them, then after we've contacted them, then we'll move them to holding for initial contact back, which means that we try to contact them. Nobody else needs to contact them, so that there's not a bunch of confusion. Then on-site interview, we don't really use very much. If we do get in touch with them, then you're going to use documents requested. This document requested is basically an email that lets them know that we're going to send them an email from DocuSign with the forms that it'll send. But it'll also let them know of the other forms that are needed as well, and it will let them know about our $300 get your paperwork done quickly sort of bonus. Evaluation is just if you're not sure, then move it to evaluation just so nobody else is calling them, and then send a task from evaluation to let people know that I think this one might work, but I need some help. Permanent document hold is if we haven't heard from anybody, we've requested them, we've talked to them, we sent them the documents, but they don't get back to us, then we put them in permanent document hold. Basically, and that's going to send them an email that basically says we're not going to do anything with your advertising. I mean, we're not going to do anything with your application until we hear back from you. The last two stages are an offer letter. Move to offer, and then the last, and basically that's that they've got all their paperwork in. We're just waiting to hire them, and nobody else needs to call them because we're about to hire them. And then finally, hired is we have actually hired this person, and moving a candidate to this stage automatically sends an onboarding letter telling them about Inyon. So let's show you what these pipeline looks like in real life. This is a job that we have going right now. So all of these folks are in apply, but the stages that we just talked about are here: apply, prospect, need follow-up, holding for initial contact, interview requests for teaching staff, interview requests other than teaching staff, on-site interview, documents requested, evaluation. And if you go to the bottom here, you can scroll all the way across. And that gives you a overview of our pipeline process.